Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. And as usual, I'll start by showing you where we are on the pattern. We are still working on those cobblestones underneath the fountain. So this should be fairly interesting. We've got a whole ton of threads apart, so hopefully you won't be bored. I had technical difficulties this morning and I tried to make a video for you, and once again my Ready camera ended up in slow-mo mode instead of regular mode. So unfortunately I blew it. So if I repeat myself, sorry. It's hard to remember what I said versus what I said last session or the session before that, so although I tend to repeat myself anyway. So yeah. Oh, that was darn frustrating. And I thought I checked, but every now and then that happens, I suppose. Yeah, this is my 100th session of Stitch With Me, so maybe it's that. Maybe I cursed myself, I don't know. Oh dear. Yeah, I've been doing this for a year now. You'd think I wouldn't screw it up like that, but oh well. It happens sometimes, right? Well, my husband's been sick with a cold the last few days. It's thankfully not COVID, but I'm worried I might be catching it, as my throat is a teeny bit sore today, so hopefully not. We shall see. Yeah, I haven't had one since before my son started school. End of August, we all caught one, which sucked, but what can you do, right? Yeah, my husband says he probably caught it because at work they were participating in the city's trunk or treat. He was helping to hand out candy. So he said there was something like they estimated 2,000 kids went through there. So I said, yeah, that is a lot of germs. Yeah, we were surprised. Was the first time that they've done this event, so they didn't expect that kind of a turnout. He said his boss had to go back to the store to buy more candy twice because they didn't expect that much. So their display, they were farmers, and they had some couple of live goats in a pen, because another display, they have a farm and they dressed as Shrek and Fiona, so they brought an actual donkey. And so yeah, they're like, well, if you guys want some goats, we can bring some. So yeah, they were a pretty big hit. Yeah, and the Shrek and Fiona costumes were incredible. They used green body paint and everything. It was yeah, they really went all in. My son wore a collared shirt and tie and said he's a businessman. So yeah, it was funny because one year for Halloween, my husband made a transmitter costume because he's a engineer, and that's what he works with. And because he speaks 2 languages, he joked that it was voice activated and works in 2 languages. So yeah, if I dress up, I have my my Starfleet original series uniform. I was saying one year maybe I wouldn't mind getting a Yuna costume from Final Fantasy X, because I really liked that game. but I sort of never think about it until it's too late to order one for one to get in time by Halloween. So then I tell myself next year, then I forget about it again, you know. So maybe what I should do is order it now, then I'll then save it for the year after. Yeah, that game had a really good soundtrack. I always said the ending theme would make a really nice figure skating long program. Of course, they don't call it the long program anymore. It's the free program or the free dance if it's the ice dance. They're always changing the rules. Yeah, they changed it, I remember, for a while, where they said every jump you did in the second half got you a 10% bonus, because people were always front loading their programs, so it was intended to make it more balanced. And then one athlete, she did her free program, she did all of her jumps in the second half. And she won, so I think they changed it after that, and now you get only one in the short program, and only, I think, 3 in the free program get that 10% bonus. So yeah, they change the rules every year, even just subtly. Okay, so yeah, so sometimes athletes will want to use the same program the next year, but then they have to change it slightly because the qualifications have changed. So yeah, I didn't get much stitching done the last couple days because I was watching figure skating competitions, so can't stitch while I watch that. I can knit because I don't have to look at my hands, but then I find I can't really knit much anymore. My arms start getting sore quite quickly, so yeah. Unfortunately, I have a sweater I've been working on for a while, and it's just the sleeves left to be done. I was only able to do maybe 1 inch of a sleeve before I had to quit. So yeah, that one's been on my needles for years, because I kind of moved away from knitting and more into the cross stitch. So oh goodness, pardon me. Ugh. Yeah, so they're calling for snow this week, but I always say if it holds off until after Halloween, then it's a good year. And then even then, it's not as cold as it usually is, so I'm certainly not complaining too much about that. Yeah, my only issue is I find the first snowfall, people have forgotten how to drive in the snow and there's more accidents, so that makes me anxious. And I swear, people like to try to drive like there's no snow or ice on the ground. Oops, throwing needles away. Yeah, it's it doesn't matter if you have 4x4, you know, you still need to drive to the road conditions. But there's always some fool who thinks they can just motor on through. Yeah, I had a guy who was tailgating me, and then we got to the part of the road where it widened into 2 lanes, and he pulls beside me and tries to gun it, fishtails all over the place, almost hits me, stops and drops back behind me again. It's like, yeah, I wasn't going slower because, you know, it's fun. I was going slower so I didn't lose control. It's interesting too because my husband has an off-road vehicle. It's not much bigger than my Element, but it's got a great big bush guard on it, and I've noticed that people are less aggressive towards me when I drive that one. It looks more intimidating, so yeah. Yeah, that's one that's it's a Japanese import, so it's a right-hand drive. We were thinking it could be our son's vehicle once he gets his license, but unfortunately, because he's a new driver, insurance would be way too expensive. So yeah, so my husband was saying maybe he'll sell that one and we'll use what he gets from that to buy a used vehicle for kiddo to drive. Yeah, they're finished their driver's ed. He did really well, which I'm not surprised. He gets that from his dad, not me. Yeah, I did not enjoy learning to drive at all. I like the freedom of driving, but I still don't like actually driving. Yeah, it makes me anxious. Yeah, when I lived in the lower mainland of BC, I didn't have to drive because we had a pretty good public transit system, so I just used that. But where we live here, there's nothing. The only buses they have are the ones that go between major cities. And it's too expensive to get a taxi to take you everywhere, so. Oops. Grabbed some ends of other threads there by accident. Oh dear. I find actually I get tangles more often when I'm pulling a new thread free as opposed to the ones that are already attached. Don't know why. Yeah, so if I talk a little less this session, it's because the throat is a little sore, although it's still pretty hard to shut me up. Oh, although I had one year I lost my voice completely. And it was funny because the phone rang, so without thinking, I went to answer it, and then it was like trying to force words out and absolutely nothing. It was, yeah, bad enough I couldn't even make a squawk, and I had to signal my husband over to take the phone from me because, yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that I couldn't talk. It was just, you know, habit. Phone rings, you answer it. Yeah, we still have a landline, although technically it's not actually a landline. It's now an internet, off an internet box, but it's the same number as our old landline, so yeah. But some places, that's still the number they have for us, so it was kind of nice because we get it bundled with our internet and phone, so it's only $10 a month to keep that number, so I figured, why not? Every now and then, we'll get a bunch of spam calls on that phone. Like we'll get, 5 in one day and then nothing for weeks. It's very weird. Well, we have call displays, so generally if it's not a local number, I don't answer it. I let the voicemail get it. If it's legit, they can leave a message. Yes, somebody, I saw a meme saying, call display isn't enough. I needed to also display a reason for calling. Yeah, I got a really weird one about a year back. My phone rings and I answered it, I say hello and the guy says hello. There's silence. And I said, who's this? And he says, who's this? And I'm like, look, you called me. And he says, no, you called me first. I said, no, I didn't. I guess I must have had a spoofed number. But it's like, yeah, who calls someone else and then expects them to hold the conversation? Like, you called me. Tell me what you're calling me for, Oh, man. Like, you're the one who wants something, not me. Even if you think that I did call you first because the number was spoofed or something, then, actually just say, hey, I got a call from this number. I was wondering what you wanted. Give me something to go on. Don't just say hello and then sit there silently. Like, come on. Oh. Oh, yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve is when you answer the phone to dead air. Like, if you make me get up out of my seat to answer the phone, you better be prepared to talk when I answer. But yeah, a lot of those auto dialers don't work very well. Either they never start up or they want you to say hello like 5 times before they say anything. And since I've never received any legitimate communication from an auto dialer, I'm hanging up. Yeah, I'm on the Canadian National Do Not Call list, but unfortunately, you still get calls sometimes. You have to also renew it like every 3 years, but yeah, it was frustrating because I had my phone company, they kept calling trying to upsell me stuff, and I kept telling them stop calling me. And I had one who said, oh, well, it can take a few months to get you put on the list. And I said, yeah, but it's been longer than that because at the time the last time I told them to stop calling me, my son was still taking naps, and he wasn't by the time they called me again. So I said, trust me, I know it's been longer because I know how long my kid has been not taking naps for. I actually had to threaten that I was going to cancel my service and go to a competitor if they didn't quit calling me. It was finally after somebody said, okay, we'll put you on a do not call list, but sometimes we call when we have deals. I said, no, what part of do not call me for anything do you not get, you know? I don't want your deals. I mean, I try to be not too mean because these people got a job to do. They don't really have a choice in the matter, but yeah. But I've been patient, 5 or 6 times. I'm going to lose my patience after that. Yeah, I did that job for like a day and a half, and then I was like, you know what? No. I hate this. Was not worth it. And like I'm not a salesperson, so cold calling people to try and sell stuff, yeah, that is not the job for me. Yeah, my dad did sales in many different capacities. He's good at it, but I definitely didn't inherit that skill. That's for sure. Hate when that happens. The strand splits. There. Very irritating. Oh. Yeah, I guess at least my number hasn't been spoofed too many times. Read horror stories of people where their business number got spoofed and then people were calling angrily. And it wasn't like they could easily change their number because it was a business number. Although I wouldn't want to change my number either. I mean, nowadays you have so many, two-factor authentication and it goes to your phone number. If you changed your phone number, you'd be hooped. Okay. I like to do the ones that I can park out of the diagonal and tuck away sooner when I can, as long as I'm not doing them out of order, of course. That's sort of if it comes between a choice of doing one that's going to be parked and used again or one that's going to be finished off or parked out of the diagonal, I do that one first. And then leaves me with one less thread to fiddle with. Extra thread is sticking to my sweater. Yeah, I had one day at work, halfway through the workday, and discovered I had a piece of thread stuck to my pants. Where I had one time, I cut a new thread off the bobbin. This was back when I was still using bobbins. And took one strand out of it and stitched with it. Then I went to get another strand, and it was like, where did it go? And I'm checking my clothes and all around me, and I could not find it anywhere. So, okay, fine. I cut myself a new thread. And then, like 2 or 3 days later, I discovered it was stuck to one of my son's stuffed animals. Oh, stuck to his fur. I said, oh, your stuffy stole it. Yeah, that one had fur that was almost like woolly, and it was like a sheep's coat, not the glossy. So it was like Velcro. It really grabbed onto that thread. It was stuck on there good. Got a few of these threads in this area, but there's quite a lot of this this color here. So sometimes too I will alternate threads if there's a whole big area. So I'll do one row with one thread, one row with the next thread, sort of that way I can carry them both along. So park that one a row down, and I'm going to take this one that way. So I'm kind of alternating. That way I can use them both up. Okay, again, I've got 2 threads apart. Let's see how long they are. Oh, they're both pretty long. Okay, this one I actually think I will end off one. Let's take a look. Well, so this one parked here is not as long, so I may just actually park this one out of the diagonal. Save it for later. If it turns out I don't need it, I could always end it off then. But ending off threads and restarting does use up extra floss, so that's why I try to keep it attached when I can, unless I have to carry it too terribly far, and that would use more thread than just ending it and restarting. So it's a balancing act. So yeah, I have like 3 of these, the same color parked in this area, but they're kind of spread out, and so I will do that. Use them all. Okay, nothing nearby, so we will end this one off. Okay, so I think I'll reach 94% today, maybe. Not on camera, but depends how my afternoon energy is. Yeah, I don't have as much of the energy crash at 2 as I did when I used to drink coffee, but I still do get it a bit. like to leave a little slack in my grid lines at the edges so it doesn't pull and distort the holes, but then you have to be careful to make sure they're not getting so loose that they get confusing. Okay. Little trimmed bit getting stuck in there. Okay, again, more than one thread here. That's okay. It's kind of spread out, so we should be able to use both without a problem. I trimmed my nails yesterday, so now I'm having a harder time pulling up needles without my talons. Accidentally had it in search mode instead of markup mode. Let's see, so again, 2 threads of this color. Neither of them's very long, so I may actually have to end up adding another one. Yeah, I think this is only long enough for this one. I have to be careful. I don't want to pin stitch too close to the edge, because I don't want any of my ends hanging past the edge of the design. Because they could potentially show through on the right side, so. Yeah, I made that mistake once, and then I had to do a whole bunch of going around and tucking all those ends back into towards the center, so now I just try to avoid that in the first place so I don't have a problem I need to fix later. Okay, let's see how long this is if I remember. Yeah, it's not very long. So, oops. Oh, it's about to get a little bit shorter. There. Yeah, so I'm going to start another thread of this color. So I'm going to do this one and this one. And then I'm going to park this down below right there. And then I'll do a new thread once I get there, which will be in a minute after I do this stitch. So then, yeah, new one here. If the one I had parked was long enough to do all of these, then I might have actually done some stuff out of order. But as the one that was already attached is only long enough for a couple stitches, it works out well. I think I'm going to unthread that one. It's too short. Yeah. Oh, my needle came unthreaded. So I usually don't work row by row, but sometimes it does work out that way. Okay, this is right on the line, but I'm going to tuck it away because I have so many needles on threads right now. It's almost about to tangle, so. Better even those up first. Okay. Okay. It's almost done this diagonal. Woohoo. I always like to back up my work once I get to the end of a diagonal, although I try to remember to do it every day just in case. That way, if I try to boot up in the morning and something goes wrong, I have my latest progress ready to re-import. Yeah, you never know when a tablet might die on you. So I'm also kind of skipping down and doing this one here because then I don't have to do it out of order. And it's not too much of a jumping around that it uses up a lot of extra thread, so it would use up more thread to use a different piece for that one there, so that is why I did it that way. Kind of nice when the colors kind of go in stripes in the same direction as the diagonal. Makes it easy to do them without closing anything in. That is being difficult. Okay. Sometimes I have to unthread stuff to get it to come out, but nope, I managed. Find if you don't pull on it too hard, you can usually pull it apart. Oh, I say that, but then look at that. Yeah, it really tangled around itself, so I'm gonna have to probably cut it free. I can stitch with it like this for now. Nope, I say that, but no, it does not want to cooperate, so I have to cut it. Oh, you're gonna be a real pain, aren't you? Oh my gosh. Oh my. Definitely shouldn't have done that. Yeah, should have cut it free before attempting to stitch with it. Oh well. Okay. Let's pull all these nice and taut again so we're not causing more problems there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let us try that one more time. I thought I could fudge my way through it, but nope, that was not happening. So, there we go. Double check I have no knots in this one. Okay, that's better. Squeeze one more stitch out of it. Park it there. Then the other one I can carry over to the right there. No, let's not have that happen again. Yeah, we don't want that. A repeat of what just happened. Actually, I'm going to use the other thread of this color first. Yeah. So I kind of don't really need 2 threads for this area, but because there are 2 already attached, I'm just going to go with it. Okay, and then this one I'm going to do, because then I can end it. So I figured since I'm so close to the bottom of the diagonal, stitch a little bit longer today and just finish it off. So yeah, threading this towards the middle of the design so that my end doesn't show. Oh, why are you being... 99% of the time I can do that without looking, but occasionally it'll be stubborn. Oh my gosh. There, find that before it finds me in an unpleasant way. Oh my gosh. Tell ya. Not having luck today with my technical difficulties earlier and then my tangles. Yeah, it works out because this thread pretty much runs out right here anyway. There. And just tie that off. Try to grab just one. There we go. Yeah, occasionally it'll end up somehow twisted on itself. I think the needle goes back through the strand and then you can't remove it. So there, I have to cut it out. Okay. Two more. Then I'll park it, and that is the perfect place to stop. Right at the bottom of a diagonal. All right, we'll head back up to start the next one. There we go. Make sure I mark that I did that first before I forget. So as usual, thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you here again another time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.